What's up, Internet? You're tuning in episode 16 of the Steam Deck Podcast, Flip Screen Games weekly video game podcast all about Valve's hot new handheld, the Steam Deck. I'm your host, Pete and Bessie, joined as always by my very good friend and co-host, Mr. Stephen Radford.
Hello, hello.
Hello, Steve. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
You know, I'm doing pretty good. Thanksgiving is in the air. It's Wednesday as of this recording. Tomorrow, I'm gonna make some food. I'm gonna eat some. I'm making some food tomorrow morning, and then I'm gonna go eat some food. So it's gonna be a good time. You know, back to back.
So, like, it's tomorrow. You off Friday as well? Do you get Black Friday off?
Yeah, I get Black Friday off as well.
So you got a 4-day weekend ahead of you. Just gonna play some games, chill out, relax.
You know, I hope so.
Yeah. I mean, hope fingers crossed, because you got some games to finish up, right?
I do have some games to finish off. Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah, I've got a couple things I got to do this weekend that are not so fun. So we'll see if I have time for video games. But hopefully I'll be able to make a nice dent in what I got left of God of War, so I can try to play at least one other game before the year ends.
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell you what, though, I got the trophy for our predictions episode in hand, so I'm very excited about that.
I don't want to see it. Don't spoil it.
No, I won't. I'll tell you what, I showed Sierra last night when we recorded Nintendo Noise, though, and it's the good stuff. People are into it.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
But, of course, we're here to talk about Steam Deck this week, and this week is going to be our holiday gift guide. We're going to talk all about Steam's autumn sale. It's a little weird to me that they're calling it an autumn sale. It's like it's basically winter. Right, like winter is like...
Winter starts 21st of December, right? That's when it starts.
Is that canon? Is that canon?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because the summer solstice is the 21st, and then the equinox is the 21st of December, I believe. I might be wrong, but I think that's right. I mean, someone will correct me in the comments if I'm wrong.
You sound pretty confident, so I'm going to give it to you. You know.
Well, I know the summer solstice because it's my brother's birthday, so it's always like that day is like it's just ingrained in my memory. Because my brother ages another year whenever it turns summer.
Well, I feel like I'm aging another year trying to get through this intro. We're here to talk about our Steam Deck holiday gift guide. We're going to talk about all the hot games that are on sale. We're going to talk about the accessories that we think you should be asking for or picking up for the Steam Deck owner in your life. Or, you just get it for yourself. You want to get yourself a little present, that's okay too.
Yeah, or if people are asking you, like, what can I get you for Christmas? There's like some small things, some big things. There's some like good stuff on the guide, I think.
Yeah, so we've got some good stuff. We're gonna just hop right into it. Let's start off with the games, because as of yesterday, the Steam Autumn Sale is upon us, and you've got about a week to go and pick up your games right now. And there are some real good sales going on. There are some truly, truly exceptional games available for a really good price.
Yeah, 12 minutes, top of our list. Really great game. No, I'm joking.
Man, 12 minutes. That was sure one of the worst video games that I was ever excited for.
Yeah, I know, real disappointment. But I had a notice from Steam yesterday. It dropped to my inbox. It was like God of War and 21 other games on your wish list are on sale. I didn't realize my wish list had grown quite as large since I got a Steam Deck and I went through the library.
You got a lot of stuff on this list.
This looks good. Yeah, so I've got quite a lot on my list. Like some of the standouts for me, like Sekiro, 50% off. I was like, wow, okay, it's very rare to see a FromSoft game, I think, go on sale, and Sekiro seemingly never goes on sale. So
50% off. I think anything over 50% off is like, that's when you're like, this is the good
insane
shit.
Deal,
right? That's the real deals.
Yeah. So and then there's Project Hospital, another hospital sim, 50% off. The Tenants, which I'm quite excited about. You get to play a landlord, which something in real life I'll probably never do. Because
you better not.
I'm not awful. So that's 25% off. And then the Life is Strange Remastered Collection and Life is Strange 2 Colors, both 50% and 35% off respectively. All of the Sony games, well, majority of the Sony games, apart from the last two releases, seem to be on sale. So Horizon Zero Dawn I've been considering picking back up after I finished Forbidden West. That's 50% off, and God of War is 25% off, which in the UK brings it down to 30 quid. Really good price. Resident Evil Village, there's the new third-party DLC, which I'm looking to pick up, and the base game is 25% off, so I may end up biting on that. Stanley Parable, which I know you've told me a million times I need to play.
Yes.
That's a 33% off. I still know nothing about that game.
That game is one of the most memorable experiences I've ever had with a video game. Let me put it that way.
Yeah, I need to pick that up at some point. And I know Asobi was really wanting me to stream that one, so I might end up streaming that one.
I'm so torn
Death
because like
Stranding.
the idea of you streaming it, I'm like that I think could make for good content, but I don't want that to be how you experience the game for the first time, and it'll only be interesting if you do it the first time.
Yeah.
But like if you're interacting with chat and stuff, I think it'll ruin it.
Well, okay, then we'll have to do it as a co-stream. You'll have to do the interaction with chat, and I'll just block that out and ignore it, and then you can video my reactions.
That could work.
Yeah,
I could mess with that. You mute me,
Death Stranding.
and everybody else, and I'll talk to the chat, but you just play the
Really?
game.
Okay, all right. Well, just videoing my face. It'll be like what are those like game tests where like you see them in the like black box, and they're just like being videoed.
Yeah, because like I don't know. I feel like you want to go in it with just yourself interacting with the game, because like there's so much dialogue and like the game talks to you directly. I don't want you like making conversation with me and missing it, you know, like that's the content, you know, is like hearing things and reacting.
That's the problem I had playing Judgment with Zaid on stream. It was like I'm trying to follow this story, Zaid and me having a conversation, plus I'm also talking with the chat. It was really difficult for me to follow the story. So that's a game, which is on my list actually, it's 25% off. That's a game I really want to get back to and actually understand the story, because it's a really good mystery story from what I can tell. But yeah, also on my wish list, Death Stranding Director's Cut down 40%. Trombone Champ, which I've been meaning to check out for months now, it's down 20%. Let's Build a Zoo, which was one Chewy told me about over on Nintendo Noise. That's 35% off.
Too.
Yeah, and Return to Monkey Island is 20% off, but I think I'm probably going to play that one on Game Pass because it's just come to Game Pass.
So I've got a couple on my list as well. A couple of them are games I haven't played, and a couple of them are games that I love and would recommend you pick up on sale. Or if like you're like me and maybe you want a second copy so you can enjoy it on your Steam Deck. We've got Weird West, which is marked down by 50%. This is one I started right before my honeymoon, so I haven't gotten too far into it, but I've played a decent amount of it, and I'm really, really enjoying it. It is... I forget the name of the studio, if you can maybe look it up for me, Steve. But it's the team is made up of one of the creators of Dishonored, I believe. It's somebody from the Arcane team who started this game so that they could kind of do the indie thing and have the ability to make like immersive sims without the the constraints of it being like a AAA game that needs to sell gangbusters. So the whole thing is you play this woman who is she was a bounty hunter and like used to work with the town sheriff or whatever and stuff like that. And she retires and becomes a farmer. And like the game picks up with you being on your farm and your husband has been kidnapped and your son and dog have been murdered. And then you like kind of go out into the Weird West and try to like rescue your husband and kind of like solve this mystery and figure out what's going on. And it's, kind of a classic old school Western setting, but like the weirdness that comes in is like all of these different, like supernatural elements, right? Like one of the things that I discovered is that like, I guess this is like a mild spoiler. But, like, you find out very early on that, like, the people that have kidnapped your husband are working for this, like, monster. Like, this, like, demonic thing that is, like, eating people. So it's like, oh, shit. Like, you better kick it in gear. Like, your husband's going to get eaten, So it's, like, a very, very interesting mix of settings, right? There's not a lot of games that take place in the West, and there's even fewer Western settings that have like monsters and magic and all that kind of stuff in it. So if you're the kind of person like me where like you like, the those kind of big sandboxy games that are all about like making choices and, like role playing a character and deciding like, do I solve things violently? Do I solve things non-violently? Do I try to, make friends with every character I interact with? Do I want to kill important story characters just because I can? Like it's that.
Yeah, that's always the best way.
That
That's
kind of
always
game.
good fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So highly
I-
recommend that one.
That's it's by Wolf-Eye Studios,
Wolf-Eye.
published by Devolver. Every Devolver game is seemingly on sale at the moment. So other games like Cult of the Lamb are also on sale, and Inscription. There's like a ton from Devolver on sale. So if you've had your eye on a Devolver game, it's worth going to check out and see if it's on sale, because it probably is.
So then another one game I wanted to get to earlier this year and I never got around to, Digimon Survive, 30% off, pretty good deal. Like we talked about, a lot of the PlayStation stuff is on sale. Days Gone is at 60% off right now, which, I've wanted to play it for years,
You're subscribed to the PlayStation thing though, right?
I am.
It's probably worth you checking it out there and seeing if it clicks with you before you pick it up on Steam.
Yeah, I own a copy on PlayStation, so.
But you own a copy as well? You've never played? Oh my god.
They gave it away once for like
Oh, the PS Plus game?
I think so anyway. Yeah, but I definitely own a copy. So yeah, like that's one, but if you've heard Steve talk about it and you're thinking about picking it up, 60% off is a good deal. This is one I'm very heavily considering. Is the Mass Effect Legendary Edition is 67% off.
Oh, not again. Seriously, not again. You can.
Yeah, like, baby. It's like, what if I just play Mass Effect again? Like.
Yeah, what if you stop playing new games and just carry on with your trend of playing older games all year?
Yeah, I mean, hey, I'm willing to bet that by the end of the year I've beaten more games than you that are new, including
I don't think
the old
so.
ones I
don't think so.
Beaten?
Yeah, I don't think so. I've been playing a lot of small indie titles the last few months, like Pentiment, Curse of the Golden Idol.
Yeah.
I don't think you'll have got there, because you've been playing big titles like
That's
long,
true.
slow burners. I mean, like how are you getting on with Xenoblade, for example?
No, I'm not finishing it. I can't finish it by the end of the year. There's not enough hours.
Yeah, that's such a big game.
Yeah, well, I guess we'll see. Marvel Spider-Man Remastered's 25%, pretty good. Final Fantasy VII Remake, 29%, pretty good. Kino Bridge of Spirits is 50% off. That's another one that I've been meaning to get to, and like that's a great deal for it. Will I bite? I guess we'll see. Hitman 3 is 65% off.
Have you played that yet?
No. I have it on Xbox.
You bought that on Xbox. You have it sealed. Okay, is it still sealed? Did you ever unseal that?
Still sealed. They put it on Game Pass
ridiculous.
now with the first 2 games worth of content too. So it's like
You don't get it all. So
No?
there's like you get you will be missing all of the DLC missions, and some of the DLC missions are really good. Like New York's really
For
good.
Hitman 3, though.
No, for the first 2 Hitman games.
that's bullshit.
Yeah, you have to buy the Access Pass, which I think is also on sale on Steam. So it's worth checking out. But you'll get those if you buy the gold edition of the first 2 games. I had them anyway because I'd bought them previously on Xbox, so I had those. But they're really good levels, and you get the sniper missions as well as DLC, which are also really fun.
Okay. And then Hades, another game that we both really enjoyed, 40% off. Good deal for that one. One of the ones I definitely want to call out, though, it's a game I already own, but Disco Elysium is currently 75% off. It's $10. Like, go.
Yeah. I mean,
go buy that game.
yeah, I worry about like who actually gets the money for that now that the creators were like ousted from the studio. Like, what's the situation there?
Yeah, but it's
'Cause
like
that was a real shame. But
you got to play that game however
masterpiece.
you can. Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
like I won't comment on the scenario, the situation at the studio, right? Like, but remove yourself from that part of the conversation. Like, Disco Elysium is a masterpiece, and you owe it to yourself to play it. I think.
Yeah.
For $10 fucking dollars, buy it.
Yeah, and it's on a platform that's going to run well. Like, I'm halfway through playing that on Switch, and I don't think I'm ever going to go back. So maybe I'll pick it up again now that I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
It'll be a lot simpler.
You should pick it up and just get back to where you were.
Just go through it, yeah.
Because if you just jam through the
transfer
conversations and make the
saves.
same choices you made, you could probably catch up pretty quick.
Yeah. Make sure I go get my shoe, unlike you.
Yeah, you gotta finish it. It's just such a good game, man. Like, I think it's only more.
I had so many like really lucky dice rolls in that game though. Like when I was going to the big guy outside, like he
Yeah.
was like stopping you from getting in. I had such a good dice roll on him. Like I was able to take him down without anything. It was like a 5% chance or something. And the dice rolled in my favor
When
and I
those
was able
happen, it's
to
like
get
so
past him.
unbelievably satisfying. And the
Yeah.
inverse is hilarious when you're like, oh, I have like a 90% chance and it fails, and you're like, what the fuck? Like, damn it, okay. Like,
Yeah, it's really frustrating at times. But there's a lot on here. I would imagine if you've got a wish list on Steam, you've probably got a bunch of games. There was a few I wanted to call
like
out.
Persona 5 Royal, 30% off. Go play
Yes.
it for our game club right now.
I know it's insane that that's on sale already. But as you already mentioned, Hitman 65% off. Those are some of my favorite games of all time. Civilization 6. Like if you're a strategy fan and you haven't picked up Civ 6,
90%
yeah.
off. What? What's it, a nickel? What does that cost? $5?
Not. I think it comes down to $9 or something, or maybe even less. It's a ridiculous price for that. That was a full price game. And Red Dead Redemption 2. Like I know that you bought this at 50% off. I think we had someone in the Discord talking about like, should I buy it on this? Seems like a good deal. It's never been below 50% off. They've
Those
reduced it down
fucks,
by
man.
67%.
67.
Now.
It's the lowest it's ever been after I finally bit on it.
Yeah,
Rat bastards.
and it's insane. It's an insane price, and it apparently runs really well on Steam Deck.
They
so
just
it's worth
patched it.
checking out.
Yeah, they just gave it a Steam Deck update. Like, I think the patch had gone live 2 weeks before I bought it or something like that.
Wow. So that one's worth picking up. Vampire Survivors 15% off is back down to its like £3 price point. If you haven't played that game, you definitely should before the end of the year. Like if you want to be, I think that's in the running for Game of the Year for a lot of people. Roller Drone, which we both liked, is 34% off, which is a really good price as well. And if for some reason you play VR and you've not checked it out already, Half-Life Alyx, I think, is on sale at its lowest price ever, 30% off at the moment, which is a really good price to check out. And then one that's close to my heart that I really hope Pete plays is Inscription.
I own it.
Off.
I do have it. Game. I just haven't played it yet.
There's a theme. There's a trend
that
there.
Technically came out last year, right?
It did, yeah, but it got controller support this year. So, because it came to other platforms this year, but that came out last year.
Because I'm like, I want to play it, but I'm like, I should play newer things for like Game of the Year, and I can play that next year, like in the quiet.
Well, you didn't care about that earlier this year when you're like, yeah, I'm replaying this really old game. I'm playing Tony Hawk from like PlayStation 1. I'm just gonna go through all of these.
I'm gonna play the classics. Tony Hawk's Underground. I played I played Dragon Age and Dragon Age 2. Like I beat a lot of very old games this year.
Yeah, I know.
No, whatever, Steve. You gotta chase your bliss, okay? You gotta chase your bliss.
Yeah, I agree with you. Like, just play what feels good at the time.
Also, I feel like
we've covered the games that are up for Game of the Year at this point between the two of us.
Yeah, I did what I could. I'm 30 years old. I can't. I'm not yet. I'm about to be 30 years old. I can't be forcing myself to play video games. Like it's got to be for fun. You got to want to play it. And like I think with a game like Inscription, I want to go in at the right time. I want to go in with the right mindset.
Halloween would have been the right time.
Yeah, but I was on vacation though.
How dare you take a holiday?
I know. Next year, I guess. So we're going to keep the gift guide conversation rolling here. We've got a bunch of accessories to talk about for your Steam Deck. But before we do that, let me remind you that this episode of the Steam Deck podcast is brought to you by our Patreon producers for the month of November. They are, of course, Christian Oliveria, Christopher Valenz, Gabriel Hasselmeyer, a.k.a. Sobi, Mary Berry, Wakahula, and Zaid Ida. Thank you all so much for your support over on patreon.com/flipscreengames. You all are the realest of the real, and we greatly appreciate your support of this and all of our sister shows. If you want to go become a Patreon supporter, if you want to write into the show, if you want to go find all of the other content that we're making all over the web, head over to flipscreen.games. That's our website where you will find links to all the places we are and all the places that you can do things with us. So go check it out. However you choose to get involved. Thanks for tuning in. Let's get back into this gift guide here. I think the number one thing that you've got on the list is, I would say, arguably the only 100% necessary accessory for your Steam Deck, and it is getting a.
You think so?
I think so. I think it's the only one that's like a hard lock. You gotta have it. The MicroSD card, so you can expand your memory. Because the base memory on the Steam Deck, pretty good, right? If you get the middle or the most expensive model, they both have a pretty good amount of storage. But I think especially if you're interested in picking up some of the bigger games on our list here, right, like the Red Dead Redemptions of the world and whatnot, you're gonna need that expandable memory.
Well, and if you've got a 64 gigabyte one, you are absolutely going to need it, because I don't think it'll fit on there once you've taken into account the OS. And also, something I think a lot of people don't take into consideration is the shader cache. All of that, no matter which model you have, is stored on the internal drive. So as you install more and more games, these shader caches are building up, and they're going to be installed on the internal drive, so that space will get used up.
Yeah, so I would definitely make sure you get a good sized micro SD, and you want it to be an A2 class card. The two kind of go-tos for that are the Samsung Evo or the SanDisk Extreme. I've got the SanDisk. They work really well. I believe they're expandable up to 2 terabytes. Is that correct?
1 terabyte, I
Okay.
believe, is the top one you'll get in an A2 class card, but they can be quite pricey. At the moment, there's a Black Friday deal on a 1 terabyte card. It comes in at £196 in the UK.
That's a pretty good deal.
Decide what you want to do, because you can also change that internal drive if you want to. I would probably recommend for the majority of people that's not something you touch. But I think a 512, 256 or 512 gig card is probably enough for a lot of people. You can get a 256 gig card for 18 quid, and they're hot swappable. So if you install the games on there, you can have multiple of them. You can take them in and out and just hot swap, and the games will load up. There's no issue there whatsoever. And that's a much better price, like bang for your buck in terms of the initial outlay on storage.
Agreed. Yeah, I think the only reason I would advise you to go bigger is like it's your Steam library. Like you're gonna fill the thing up, and especially if you want to engage with emulators and stuff like that. I bought a terabyte card. I still haven't switched over because it's a pain in the ass to move everything over, and I don't want to go through installation processes again. So like if you have the money to plunk down, I would get a bigger card and grow into it rather than buy a small one and then upgrade later, because you're just creating a hassle for yourself, in my opinion.
Yeah, I would say though, make sure you get that A2 class card. Like if it's a difference between I can afford an A2 class card that's 256 gig, or I can afford an A1 class card that's 512, I would go for the performance on the A2 class card.
Definitely.
Because you don't want your games to be loading in slowly. It looks like it's for 512 gig on Amazon.com at the moment. It's down to $57.99 for a Samsung Evo, which is not a bad price whatsoever. Considering you're looking at $200 for double that for a 1 terabyte card, I'd probably go with the 512, because it combined with your internal storage, especially if you bought that 512 gig model, you've already got the 1 terabyte storage split between the two.
Yeah. And I would just keep an eye out for sales, right? Like, especially this time of year, right? Storage is always on sale. So if you can grab it on like a Prime Day deal or like a Black Friday thing or whatever, like you can often, get one at a very significantly reduced price.
Yeah, and I will say, come join our Discord as well. We've got a deals channel, and there's always people posting hot deals that they found around the web there. So worth joining there. There's a link in the description for that.
And then, of course, this time of year, I would advise everyone to turn on tweet notifications for Wario64 for as long as Twitter exists, because he's got the deals every day,
Yeah, in the UK, I found that Digital Foundry deals are really good, because Wario 64 was quite US centric, but Digital Foundry also have a deals channel, which is worth checking out.
There you go. So I think aside from that, one of the other ones that you probably want to think about is a dock right for you, right?
Yes.
We have a whole video reviewing the Steam Deck dock, the docking station. So definitely go check that out if you want to hear our full thoughts. We've talked about the dock quite a bit and why we think that that's the best option for the price and what you're getting.
Yeah, I mean there are other options, right? Because
Sure.
so I've got a third party dock that was sent to us for review, and I'll put a link to in the description to this one. But this is like a very much a generic third party one. They come in around half the price of the official Valve one. I haven't used it. There's very little difference between this. The major difference is it's missing the display port. So you can't have multiple monitors, which is one of the big sell points for the official dock. And it obviously does not come with a charger, which is another big reason why that Valve dock is so expensive. But there are pros to this, right? The slot's a lot bigger than the Valve one. You can easily fit in with the case. Like say you bought that D brand case, you can easily fit it in here, and it's made of metal, so it does feel nice and sturdy. But that also has its cons as well. Like I was worried that maybe it would like catch some of the plastic on the Steam Deck at some point and see. But there are some like rubber feet in there. But we also both picked up those Amazon Basics dongles, which are another option. They're like $16, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think if you're just like desperate to get it hooked up, like this is probably a good solution, like the $16 Amazon Basics. But I would.
Well, or a travel option. I think they're a really good travel option because they
Sure.
fit. The official Steam Deck case has that like slot behind the
Yeah.
strap. I slot that in there when
You
I go
can
traveling.
you can slot the docking station in there as well. It fits.
Oh, okay. Well, the
Yeah.
official one.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah,
It,
that's
it
worth
fits in there
probably
quite
then.
nicely. I would argue I think that the official docking station is probably the way to go because I think the savings that you'll get from going for a third party option kind of come out in the wash unless you're willing to have the docking station be the only way that you're charging your Steam Deck. Personally, I bought the official station, so I have two chargers now. I have one upstairs for when I play in bed, and then one connected to the TV for when I'm playing downstairs. So I think that's the way to go. Not to mention the fact that, and this is something we talked about in our review, there are firmware updates, right, that come to the docking station, and they're all handled for you by your Steam Deck. Just by plugging it in, like it'll update.
Yeah, it's had
when
it's had its first new one since launch now that's fixed some of the issues with the HDMI 2.0 port, and that's just done when you update
Right.
Steam OS. You'll also get a dock update when you plug it in. They'll say firmware needs updating, and it'll just come up on the screen, which is really nice.
Yeah.
It's very, very nice, and you get that longevity that you may not get with a third party dock. But if you're just using it, I would say to plug in a keyboard and mouse every now and again and maybe hook it up to a monitor. I do think a third party dock is probably a fine solution. I've found myself charging pretty much 90% of the time when it's docked, and then when I take it away it's ready to go, which is how I use my Switch. And every now and again I'll plug it actually into my laptop charger. I've got a MacBook Pro and it has a 95-watt charger, and that thing just like shoves power straight into the Steam Deck. It's quite nice.
Yeah, so I mean, I think there's definitely good options, whether or not you want to go official or third party. But if you want to hear more dock talk, definitely go check out our review and the episodes that we did talking all about our experiences with the dock, because I think we'll give you a better idea of kind of what its limitations are and whether or not it's for you.
Yeah, I do want to say though, before we move on from the dock, no matter whether you get an official one or an unofficial one, you will need to buy an HDMI cable or a DisplayPort cable. So that's something worth remembering unless you already have one of those. You're going to want to get an HDMI 2.0 cable so you can fully utilize 4K 60 or 1440p at 120 hertz. And there's also third-party docks like the one from JSOX that include a bay for an NVMe SSD, which is another way that is really handy to expand your storage if you want to, especially with the latest SteamOS update that we spoke about on the last episode, where it'll auto mount that drive. You can just slot the NVMe SSD in there, and then when you plug in, you've got access to your full Steam library, and you can select what you want to take with you.
Very nice. So then, moving on, we've also got the covers to think about. So there are a couple options here. You mentioned earlier there's the D brand kill switch, which I feel like is like probably the the most popular, or at least the most talked about.
Yeah, the reason I would say this is probably not a recommendation for the gift guide, at least this year, is because it's no longer available until Q1 2023. They had some issues with the magnetic attachments that came with the original model, slowing down some of the fans in the Steam Deck. And so they've had to retool it, and it's now like a bayonet click-on solution. So you can pre-order one of these, and it'll be with you in Q1 2023, but it's not available for Christmas. They do, however, have skins. So if you like protecting it with a skin, or you want to make it like a white color or a different color, then Dbrand has you
They
covered
do have
there.
some really cool color options too. Like if you're over on YouTube, I've got it pulled up in front of us. They've like you can like do a kind of like a custom kit where you can like pick different, you can pick different options and then kind of like design the whole thing out as you go. Very cool.
Yeah, I really love the one that makes it look see-through,
I
where you
wish that they
see the
weren't
like
just
chips underneath
wraps.
it.
I guess like I like the idea of like making it a different color, but I'm like I feel like it's gonna be really tough to get this like on there and have it feel like it really fits, you know?
They're pretty good at making it factory fit, to be honest, and they recommend you use a hairdryer. And they give you like a really great tutorial with their YouTube channel. So I think you probably could manage it. I'd like to check them out at some point. I'm
This would
not
be a
usually
good
a skin
video. This would
fan,
be a good video to make probably.
but yeah, it'll be nice to check out at some point. They've, like you said, they've got some really cool options, and obviously Valve only sell the Steam Deck in black, so it's nice to have
I want the
some
yellow.
uniqueness to it.
I want to
The
get
mellow yellow.
flip screen yellow. Let's go.
Yeah, that would be nice. You could even leave some sections off and make it black, right? And if
Yeah.
you buy the Project Kill Switch all in, you get a skin with it, and they give you the skin for the bit that the Project Kill Switch does not cover up, which is quite cool.
Hey, it's cool. So then we've also got the JSOX. How do you say it?
It's JSOX apparently.
JSOX. The kickstand
Yeah.
protective case that they put out. This is like, I don't know. This reminds me a lot of like those weird like Game Boy packages that you get back in the day where it's like, oh, it's got grips on it and a built-in kickstand. It's like, all right, yeah, like
I think the kickstand probably is quite useful, and I know a lot of people like these protective covers. One thing to note with all of them though is they will not fit into the default case. So we've got another one from Spigen as well that won't fit in there. So if you do want to get one of these, you may end up needing to buy a third-party case. And I know JSOX also have a third-party case that you can pick up, which I believe fits with their with their cover that they sell, which is quite cool. And in that case, you can also fit a bunch more stuff. There was one that was announced yesterday. I can't remember who it was by. And it was like a whole carry bag, like you used to have for your, I think, was it for your N64 or your
yeah.
GameCube? And you can fit like a keyboard and mouse in there, and it's got like perfect like foam slots. So if you want to take like a whole setup away with you,
Where's that?
then that's something you can
Where's
do.
that on this list?
I couldn't find it. I was looking for it and I could not find it. But if I find it, I'll put a link in the description.
And then of course there's also the Deckmate, which
Yeah, this is something
Kotaku
I'd really
named
like to
the
check
best
out.
Steam Deck stand. So there you go. They're very
Yeah,
proud
it's
of
really
this.
cool accessory. I don't know if you've seen it. It like clips over the top and the bottom,
Yeah.
like to the left and the right of the vent. And then you can include like the slots for SD cards in there. You get like a bunch of accessories. You can put like a kickstand on there. You can have like mounts up on the wall or on your bed or something if you want to be able to click it into certain places. There's Vaser mounts if you say, for example, have a for some reason want to mount this to a Vaser arm, and just like be able to move it
Like yeah,
around,
put it
which
on
might
like
be quite cool.
yeah, like it's like those standard the clips that people put monitors on. Like I'm showing that on the video right now.
Yeah. Yeah, so there's like a lot of stuff they do. I think they also sell a case that you can get with it. So I've been looking to pick up the kickstand, which which with the Deckmate grip comes in at $35, and they've got a 10% off voucher at the moment for Black Friday. So it might be worth checking that out at deckmate.me if you're interested in getting a kickstand for your Steam Deck.
Yeah, that feels like the way to go. Like if that's the thing you
rather than
want.
the whole case. Because I like that you can take this off as well, right?
Yeah,
You can keep the clippy thing on there, and then just swap the accessories out, which I really like.
agreed. So then there's also the JSOX carrying case, which is a more involved hard case. Like it feels like it's kind of like a bit of a step up from like the base case experience in that like it's got some space for you to like hold memory cards. There's like extra space for like your charger and some of the like the other like things that you might want to like pack in there. And then it's also got a built-in stand, kind of similar to some of the like Switch cases where you can like pop them
Yeah,
up and then put
yeah.
the back up, and it kind of makes its own stand. So I think this is another one like I could definitely see um investing in this. They also like have a whole thing about how like the shell is like really thick, so that like if there's ever pressure applied or you drop it or something falls on it, that it should be better protected.
Yeah, I love that. I always love these like these brands how they like shit on all the other ones. It's like this case is great. Look at the other ones. It would like destroy your
Will
life.
shatter your screen.
Yeah, like ruin your dreams.
Yeah, so that's another one. If you're feeling like your current Steam Deck case is lacking, I think that's
Yeah,
probably
I
a
mean,
good update.
I kind of feel like this is one of the ones that I would. It's like a nice to have, but I
Yeah.
would probably buy everything else before I bought a new case because the case that comes with the Steam Deck is really good.
The case that comes with it is really good. I think the problem with it is traveling. Like, it's not a great situation if you do want to just, like, have one bag that has all your Steam Deck stuff in it. It's not great for
Yeah.
that. You can't fit a charger in it. You can't, there isn't a space for you to put, like, a backup SD card or anything like that. So, I could see, I don't know. Like, I agree with you that it's more nice to have, but this feels like to me a really good gift, actually. Because, like, sure, the base case is already fine, but, like, a nicer case that makes it easier to pull it out and take it somewhere with you, I think is, if you're somebody who's traveling with your Steam Deck a lot, I think that quality of life difference will make a big difference,
Hmm.
you know?
Yeah, you're right, and like the good gifts are those kind of things that you don't think about, things that you wouldn't really go, oh, I don't need a new case. It came with one, and if someone
Exactly.
gives
So
you
you're like,
one,
I'm not
then
going to
it's
buy
just like,
one. The
oh,
one I
this is
have
good.
is
Yeah,
fine, right? But,
yeah, yeah.
like, yeah, this is better, though. So, I think good gift, for sure. I wouldn't mind receiving. I wouldn't mind receiving one. So then moving along, we've got the controller side of things. I think we're both in agreement that I think the best way to go is either an Xbox Series X controller or a DualSense. They
Yes.
both work really well. Obviously, if you go the Xbox
The Pro
route,
controller does work well. Does work well enough.
yeah,
My one issue with the Pro controller is the triggers. They're not analog,
right.
and so if you're playing games that expect analog triggers, then you're going to run into some issues. Something like Forza expects the analog triggers, so that's the one reason I've discounted that. But if you already have one, or you prefer the Nintendo style layout, then that's
They
always an
do
option
work
as
well.
well.
They connect well and everything. I think it's just they're a more limited controller. So like you're probably better off something that's a little more feature complete, But mileage
Yeah,
may
there's
vary.
before we talk about the Xbox and the PlayStation ones. There's a couple I actually forgot about. The Ghillie Kit controller. Have you seen that one?
No.
The Ghillie Kit King Kong 2 Pro, and also
Gilly
the
kit?
new 8-bit Do. Yeah, I'll put the link in here for you. And then also the new 8-bit Do Ultimate controller. Both of those use Hall effect sticks, and so the 8-bit,
Whoa.
yeah, they're really nice. But the
This is
8-bit Do one's
pretty.
possibly even nicer because you get a little charging stand with it as well out of the box, and they work with Bluetooth, so they can connect directly to the Steam Deck. And they use the Hall effects sticks, which, if you're not familiar, are those sticks that can't drift. They use magnets in order to detect
Yeah.
where the stick is, and so the potentiometer, which is the one thing that erodes over time and causes stick drift, it's not a problem with these because GuilliKit make these Hall effect sticks, and they're in both of these controllers. So they're worth checking out as well. The Ghillie Kit one is probably the one I would get because it comes with gyro, and the 8BitDo one does not have gyro. And the gyro for me is a game changer. I absolutely love playing with gyro, which is why of the other two controllers we've got, the Xbox and the DualSense, I would probably opt for the DualSense because I really like playing with gyro aim.
I've also generally found. I'm sorry, for the new 8BitDo controller, are you talking about the Ultimate controller?
Yes, the 8BitDo
Yes.
Ultimate
With the dock.
2.4G wireless one.
Yeah.
You want the one that's Bluetooth really. So it might not be called the Ultimate, but there's a Bluetooth one, and you want the one that supports X input. And that one also has like back buttons as well. There's like two buttons
Yeah.
on the back. So there's pros and cons to both. It's worth checking out. Like if you're not someone that uses gyro and you like the look of the 8BitDo one with the little charging dock and you like back buttons, like back paddles, then the 8BitDo one's probably the way to go. But if you like the more Xboxy style one and also really want gyro aim, then the Ghillie Kit one is the way to go.
Out here making me think about buying more third-party controllers.
The 8BitDo one's really nice, and you want the one that supports Bluetooth for Switch and Windows, which I think is the white one actually. I think I linked the black one, but I think the white one's the one you want.
Yeah, for the
Oh,
Ghillie
they do it both.
the Ghillie Kit one, you can use it to activate your Switch too from being offline, which is pretty interesting. That's usually not an option with third-party stuff.
Really? How do they do that?
That's what it says. I don't know.
Okay, I mean, we may need to get a Ghillie Kit one then to test that out because I've been looking at getting one because they've got those Hall effect sticks,
Hmm.
and they just look like such a nice little controller. It comes with a little plastic shell as well that you can go over it, which is really cool.
Nice. Yeah, I'm with you though. I would say the DualSense is the way to go. That's the controller I've been using the most. I really like the experience of using it on the Steam Deck. I find it to be a little bit easier to connect than Xbox. I've had a little bit of difficulty with that, where it's like sometimes been finicky, and I've had to disconnect and reconnect and things like that. Whereas my PlayStation controller, um, just connects right away every time. So
Well, I've not had any issues, and the Xbox One I actually really like because the Series controllers, if you double tap the sync button on top, you can quickly switch between two devices. I remember the last two paired
that's nice.
devices. So I've got it paired to my Series X, and I've also got it paired to my Steam Deck. And when I want to switch between the two, I just double tap, and it swaps between the two, which is really cool. And with the Xbox One, there's also the Elite option. I know the DualSense Edge is coming out, but I don't think that's out until next year. So you've got the option of having those back paddles, and you've also got the Design Lab. So if you want to have something a little bit more thoughtful, you want to design something for someone, or you want to design something for yourself, you can go over to the Design Lab and make something
Yeah,
really, really custom and unique for
that's
you,
definitely
which is really cool.
a big benefit I think of the Xbox side of things is like especially if you're looking for a gift, getting somebody like a nice custom controller like with their tag on it or something like that. Very very cool, very thoughtful. So moving along, we got a couple others to call out. I think one of the things we've talked about is like a wireless keyboard mouse combo. One of the ones that you've suggested here is the Logitech K400, which has a built-in mouse like trackpad and everything. So if you are like kind of looking for something that you can use in like one piece, that might be a good way to go. I also have a Logitech, and I got just one of the basic like mouse and keyboard combination offerings, and I personally prefer that just because I like the tactile nature of a mouse rather than like a trackpad. But either way, something that you can easily snag for in the neighborhood of like $20 to $30, and it'll go a long way with you wanting to like have a more PC like experience.
Yeah, the reason I like the one with the trackpad built in, just because it's an all-in-one unit, you don't have to have something to rest a mouse on. I know you've got kind of that little station that you rest your keyboard and
Yeah,
mouse on, but I think if you're just going to be using it on a sofa or in an armchair or something, you can just rest this on your lap or on the arm of the chair and use the trackpad like you would a laptop, which is really cool. You can navigate through the desktop interface, and it's perfect for games like Age of Empires or games that really require a mouse or games that require a keyboard. There's an FMV game that I've been meaning to play. and that requires a keyboard. You like type your answers in, which is really cool. So there's some games that will require a keyboard and mouse, and there's no kind of way around that. And for those, this is the perfect option, I think.
Very nice. Yeah, and I definitely can see the value of that convenience factor, for sure. Okay, so I think outside of that, there are a few other kind of like just I think general easy ones, right? Like Steam credit, right? Gifting games. I think those are obvious answers. We've talked a lot about how you can take advantage of the sale, so I would make sure you go and do that. A couple more basic things.
Yeah, the Steam credit thing, I think they've actually, and I don't know if it's new, but it's on the front page of their homepage now that you can digitally gift credit, which I don't think you've been able to do before. So you can buy credit and just select which Steam accounts, which like of your friends that you want to send the credit to, and it'll just add it to their balance and send to them an email, which is really cool. So they don't need to redeem any codes or do anything like that anymore. You can just make sure that it ends up on their Steam account.
So I mean I think that's like a great option. And I definitely think that's like, probably the easiest way to go, right? But I think some of these other choices are a little more non-conventional. And I always think that's like a better way to go, right? Like everybody likes to get a game for a gift, but I also think if you want to play a game, you'll buy it yourself, right? Whereas like an accessory, you might not be as likely. So I think like aside from some of this stuff that we've already listed off, we had a couple other things knocked down here, right? Like screen protector, potentially an additional USB-C charger. There's a great one from Anchor available, but again, I think if you go for the dock, that'll be included. So you're probably better off getting the
Those
dock.
battery packs are good though. Like the USB-C like battery packs, which
That's
as
like
long as it has like USB-C power delivery, like you can get the big battery banks, especially if you're traveling.
right.
You can just plug that in and you'll get like a decent output, and you can just charge away then and carry on gaming, which is good.
Works for your phone too, right? You could also use it to charge a Switch, so it's like something like that. Has a lot of value, I think, outside of just being a Steam Deck accessory as well. So yeah, that's a good one too. Like again, you're doing conventions, anything like that. Nice thing to have for sure. Comes in handy when you need it. Easy to throw in your backpack. And then I think there's also I guess the last kind of major one would be headphones or earbuds. I would highly recommend the PlayStation 3D Pulse headset. That's what I'm using right now. You can see here I've got a little tear on mine, unfortunately, because I throw it in bags too much. So maybe not the best one for.
Do they have replacement cups for those?
Don't know. I'm hoping I can replace them because they still work great, but not the best. I would say for like daily wear and tear travel, but like a really great affordable headset that is often on sale.
Yeah, my headphones that I wear are not affordable, but I highly recommend them. They're the Bose Quiet Comforts. I love them so much. I've had these for now like 5 years. I've replaced the ear cups once, and they last great. Like they work both plugged in, which I have when I'm recording here, and they also work through Bluetooth. Great noise cancellation built in. Yeah, I love these headphones. They're so light. They come with a carry case as well. They fold up really, really easily. They like fold up into a really weird shape. So like I can like fold them up into a really, really kind of small space, which is nice. And I also have some Beats. I think they're called Beats Studio. They're tiny little earbuds that go in your ear, and they've also got noise cancelling built, and they're really great. You can pair them to any device, but they work great with the Steam Deck, which is really nice.
It's another one too, right, where there's like a lot of mileage out of that. A good pair of headphones are usable in pretty much any context, so good gift for sure. All right, Steve. So any final thoughts here before we close out the gift guide?
No, I don't think so. Just that I hope a lot of people listening to this are getting Steam Decks this Christmas. I would imagine they are. I know at the very least my dad, who listens to this show, is getting his Steam Deck for Christmas, and he's quite excited about it. So hopefully,
love to see
if you are getting one or you've recently got one, then you've got some ideas of potential gifts or potential accessories you want to pick up as well. Or if you're like us and you have birthdays immediately after Christmas, then this is also very, very helpful.
It's like, yeah, give me that J-Sox case. Let's go. All right. So thank you guys for tuning in for another episode of the Steam Deck podcast. Remember, if you want to write in with what you're looking to get under your non-denominational holiday tree, I don't know. I was going to say under the Christmas tree, but then I was like, that's too limited. And then I was going to say under the menorah, but then I'm like, I don't know if they put gifts under the menorah. So what I'm saying is, if you want to gift this holiday season for the Steam Deck, I hope this guide was helpful. That's what I'm trying to say. And I hope whatever holidays you're celebrating this season that you have a good one. You get to spend it with your loved ones, your friends, your family, whomever is important in your life. So I hope you have a safe and happy holiday season filled with lots of video games and lots of gifts. You know, because of course that's what the season's all about.
And if you're in America, happy Thanksgiving. You know,
happy Thanksgiving, baby!
One.
Black Friday
I hope you
this
enjoyed
week.
Your turkey.
Go buy your shit. Let's do it.
Yeah, and be safe during the Black Friday sales. I know they can be.
Don't go outside.
Very
just buy everything online.
times.
Don't be an idiot. Cyber Monday. It's the same deals, only you won't get trampled. Anyway, thank you guys for joining us on another one. Remember, flipscreen.games. That's the website where you can find us wherever you go. That's where we are. We're there. We're making content for you. And of course, we'll be back next week for another episode of the Steam Deck podcast. For the crew, I've been Pete. He's been Steve. And we'll see you next week. Take it easy, everybody. Happy Turkey Day. Wow.